A steadfast supporter.
Oh, Canelli, thank you for the follow.
Are we streaming yet?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Oh, there you go.
I am still just trying to figure out why all of a sudden my camera isn't working.
Well,
I can't just turn on the stream and things work apparently.
Well, Mama is going to provide in about 2-ish minutes.
Alright, I am back. I am just way too big. There we go. There we go.
That's what she said. What do you think the chances are that she's going to say giggity when she says 6900?
69. All right.
I don't think she's going to do that. It's going to disappoint me.
Yeah, probably not. Oh, hold on. I need to grab this Pepsi. 1 second.
It premieres in 60 seconds. This is going to be really an interesting event. I am super curious to see what they announce and whether my information has been right. I would love it if they released a white paper for RDNA 2, but I don't think that's going to happen yet.
Yeah.
I suspect that'll be with the reviews.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Pepsi, no Coke. I'm more of a Pepsi gal. I'm sorry, throwback gamer.
Come on, Mama.
Still saying premiering in 60 seconds to me. Anything on your end? Just making sure it's
Same.
Not. Okay. Just checking.
You know, I would
Stream in
love it.
4K. I don't. Probably, but I'm not gonna.
I don't even know if this stream is in 4K. To be fair,
it's 720p now, which is blurry. It shouldn't be blurry.
Premiering shortly. Okay, so it's gone from 60 seconds now to 28th of October, 4 o'clock. Okay.
It's still, well, on my screen, I've still got a minute. It's 59, not quite 4 o'clock, so.
Yeah. I would love it if I could get Lisa Suit and Jansen onto a podcast and then both of them bicker and then I can say something like, Mama and Papa, stop fighting.
Well, you saw that thing, right, about how she's his niece, I think?
Allegedly, that's not true. One of them, I think it was Jansen who said it wasn't true, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, okay, it says 4 o'clock and it's not live. Why are you not live?
Yeah, I'm getting a bit concerned, to be honest. Why? Oh! Okay, no, things are happening. Hooray.
Okay, one minute. Oh, come on, we have a countdown to a countdown? Really, though? 1 minute 50-ish seconds left.
Jesus, that was extremely loud.
I know, right? I just got deafened.
Yeah.
I think I should be able to, we should have a class action lawsuit against AMD for making our ears bleed.
I fully agree, yeah.
I actually have several friends in Australia that are quite literally up at this point, and it's like 3 AM for them.
Yeah, exactly, Danger Man. Yo, dog, we heard you like countdowns, so we added a countdown to a countdown.
Very, very accurate. It's like, hey, you know how you've just been waiting for weeks? Well, the countdown you just went through. I actually have a lot of friends in the States as well, on the West Coast, that have gotten up super early. I've got friends in Australia, so I'm like, okay, this event is really anticipated.
Yeah.
I can imagine Papa Jensen is like glued to the screen at this point.
Yeah, he's so like, come on, what you get?
I also, this is going to sound very bad, if you notice the pink bar at the bottom, it polices me more than it should that it's in time to the seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it appeals to a part of my soul that shouldn't be either. It's just like, ah. Okay, so my final prediction, they're about on par with Nvidia. I think slightly slower than certain games. I think that they're going to be behind in ray tracing. Okay, that is freaky, those symbols. And I suspect that they're going to slightly undercut Nvidia. Here we go. No, here we go to a black screen. Oh, there we go. I've got to say, it looks nice. It's basically an evolved version of Radeon 7 design.
Yeah, I mean, I will say Radeon 7 looks really nice. I kind of wish they'd do the Radeon like a bit more on their Founders Edition.
Well, accentuate it.
Yeah.
Godfall. These are all PlayStation and console games. Oh wait, is Godfall coming to PC? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Will someone tell me, is Godfall coming to PC? I missed something.
Chat, does anyone know? Is Godfall coming to PC? I can't really remember.
I've had like very little interest in the game. Far Cry 6 looks really interesting. These are all obviously AMD optimized games. World of Warcraft, Shadowlands. I kind of need to get back into this. Why has it got for the subtitles? The subtitles like, oh, there we go. You see the chip. Jesus Christ, the thing is huge.
Oh, chat said it is coming to PC, by the way.
Okay, I stand corrected. Oh, Mama.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for this second half of our next-gen PC platform launch. I loved seeing all of your excitement when we introduced the Ryzen 5000 series a few weeks ago. It was actually the most watched launch video in AMD history. And I must say, we're very proud of what Zen 3 brings to gamers. But today is all about Big Navi. I'm really excited to show you the new RDNA 2 architecture and our full stack of Radeon RX 6000 series products. As you know, we brought the first generation of RDNA architecture to market in 2019 with the Radeon RX 5700 XT. And with the combined launch of the 5700 XT and the Ryzen 3000 series, AMD became the first company to introduce a high-performance CPU and GPU together. And we delivered a winning combination of computing and gaming performance, including CPU and GPU of the year in 2019 from PC Gamer. Now, 2020 is really the year of the gamer. I know many of you can't wait to get your hands on the next-gen consoles. Whether it's the Microsoft Xbox Series X and Series S, or the Sony PlayStation 5, we are so proud that AMD is enabling these incredible gaming experiences. Which is why we like to say that AMD is where gaming begins. Now, earlier this month, I showed you our new AMD Ryzen 5000 series, the world's best gaming processor. Our next-gen Ryzen processor combines absolute performance leadership in single-threaded performance, gaming, and creative workloads with leadership performance per watt. And for millions of you, it's a drop-in upgrade to your existing AM4 motherboard. Now, as successful as we've been with Ryzen, many of you have asked us to compete at the highest end of gaming GPUs as well. And today, we're ready to show you exactly what we've been working on. I'm so excited to show you the Radeon RX 6000 series. It's absolutely the most powerful gaming GPU we've ever built. I think you'll be pretty pleased with what you see. I often talk about the fact that we're on a journey, and we are on a journey. Just like with our Zen CPU architecture, we're on a multi-year journey in GPUs with our RDNA architecture. We designed RDNA specifically for gaming, and our first-gen RDNA products delivered 50% better performance per watt over our GCN architecture. We wanted to take another big step with RDNA 2 and deliver another 50% generational improvement in perf per watt. And with RDNA 2, we also set the very ambitious goal to deliver leadership gaming performance. And now, I'm very happy to show you for the first time, Big Navi. This is the chip at the heart of our high-end RX 6000 series. 26.8 billion transistors built with leading-edge 7nm process technology. Big Navi is our first product powered by RDNA 2. We have made incredible progress on the architectural front. And now let me turn it over to AMD fellow Laura Smith to give you more details on the architecture.
Thank you, Lisa. Our graphics architecture roadmap has a clear goal: gaming leadership across the ecosystem. The GCN was a great architecture, but we knew we needed to rethink graphics and build the best engine for the future. We wanted to build a set of technologies that game developers could use across all platforms. The first major step was RDNA, introduced last year. RDNA was a new architecture and used a 7-nanometer process node, which helped us with the large initial gains. We committed to you that our engineers in the for RDNA 2, and we would be back quickly with another significant improvement. By combining our expertise in CPU design, deep gaming history, and broad ecosystem partnerships, RDNA 2 is built to be the gaming architecture for all gamers across console, PC, and beyond. We had some very ambitious goals with RDNA 2. Significantly higher performance, 50% improvement in performance per watt, and new hardware features. Individually, each of these goals is challenging. When combined, they become extremely difficult because as you push performance, a natural side effect is more power. New features also mean more computation, further challenging both speed and power metrics. For RDNA 2, we made significant gains in all these areas. The compute unit is the core of the architecture. We advanced all aspects of the compute unit design, leveraging techniques first developed in CPUs. We deployed pervasive fine-grained clock gating, reimagined the pipeline to aggressively maximize performance while minimizing data movement. In combination, these elements made the compute units 30% more energy efficient, allowing them to be pushed faster. Gaming at 4K requires more data to be brought into the chip. The amount of data more than doubles as we move from 1440p to 4K. The more efficient the memory subsystem is, the higher fidelity the images are, and the more you can push the frame rates. We took a new approach to solving this technical challenge for gaming and deployed a graphics-optimized, high-density, high-speed cache based on the Zen L3 cache. We call this the Infinity Cache. The Infinity Cache minimizes DRAM bottlenecks, latencies, and power consumption. Our specialized Infinity Cache, combined with a 256-bit G6 interface, delivers more than twice the effective bandwidth of a traditional 384-bit G6 solution and at lower power consumption. High frequency is important for gaming performance. RDNA 2 is built with custom libraries and high-speed design flows, maximizing frequency in 7-nanometer. With RDNA 2, our silicon design and architectural improvements, we are able to deliver 30% faster frequencies in the same 7-nanometer process node. Pulling all this together, the RDNA 2 architecture beats our aggressive performance per watt goal, achieving 54%. With RDNA 2, we also focused on bringing new hardware features into the architecture. We partner closely with Microsoft on DirectX 12 Ultimate features, including DirectX ray tracing, variable rate shading, mesh shaders, and sampler feedback. RDNA 2 will also support Microsoft Direct Storage API. We're excited about this new API that will enhance the gaming experience by significantly reducing game asset load times from large SSDs. We compared the performance of RDNA 2 to our prior generation. And when we put it all together, on average, RDNA 2 delivers double the performance and with great power efficiency. We are so proud of what we've accomplished with RDNA 2, and we are not stopping. The team is executing to plan, RDNA 2 is here, and the RDNA 3 team is well into execution. Let me welcome Scott Herkelman to show RDNA 2 in our new RX 6000 series products.
So that's Scott Herkelman.
Hello to all of the gamers tuning in, and welcome to our Radeon RX 6000 series product reveal. As a hardcore League of Legends and Borderlands 3 player and playing these games on our RX 6000 series over the past few weeks, I'm so excited and proud to be here with you today. Allow me to introduce you to our brand new AMD Radeon RX 6800 XT graphics card. The 6800 XT is purposefully designed to play all of your favorite AAA games at 4K and below resolutions, and at the highest quality settings available. It comes with 72 compute units and runs with a game clock of over 2 gigahertz. This card features a 2.25 gigahertz boost clock that pushes some of the highest frequencies we've ever achieved, all thanks to the incredible work done by our engineering team on the RDNA 2 architecture. The 6800 XT will also feature 128 megabytes of Infinity Cache that is power efficient while driving the bandwidth needed for high resolution gaming. Paired with 16 gigabytes of blazing fast GDDR6 memory, you'll be ready for the most demanding high resolution games that you want to play. And we've delivered all of this incredible performance with a total board power of just 300 watts. As you can see, the 6800 XT not only delivers on 4K 60 frames per second, but in most cases, it overperforms. We've been maxing out all the settings in games like Battlefield 5, Borderlands 3, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and the performance has just been awesome to experience. Let's take a look at how the 6800 XT competes head-to-head against the latest offering from the competition. Here, we compare their best API scores to our best API scores, the best versus the best. And as you can see, the 6800 XT trades blows and has some significant wins across a variety of titles.
We've been right all this
And it
time.
does all of this at less power
numbers.
consumption than the
Yeah.
competition. For the 1440p gamers out there, we have some great results for you too. Over the last several years, more and
He's
more
winning
gamers have
that
adopted
night division.
1440p monitors as their display of choice. Here are the same games we showed you before, running the same best versus best API scenario at 1440p resolution. I personally
Like
love
I was
seeing
right.
so many games running at over 100 frames per second with all of the settings maxed out. This is just an incredible amount of performance. All in all, the 6800 XT is a fantastic choice for enthusiast gamers. We even have more performance we are delivering with 2 very cool features. The first is a one-click overclocking button we've built into our Radeon software package that we call Rage Mode. Now, Rage Mode automatically takes advantage of the overclocking headroom built into your GPU to give you every bit of performance it has to offer. And the second is made possible because of the fact that only AMD can deliver both high-performance processors and high-performance GPUs. We call this new feature AMD Smart Access Memory. AMD Smart Access Memory unlocks the greater amount of high-speed memory from the AMD Radeon RX 6000 series graphics cards to the AMD Ryzen 5000 series processors, and it delivers additional levels of performance in games. Simply pair these components with our 500 series chipset motherboards, enable the setting in the BIOS, and the performance uplift becomes automatic. When you combine AMD Smart Access Memory with the one-click overclocking of Rage Mode, you'll get a boost in performance in many of the games you love. We're seeing up to a 13% performance increase. And that's before game
I definitely
developers
haven't heard
begin to
about this
optimize
before.
for this new capability. Now, we know a lot of you absolutely love frames per second performance just like us.
He's flexing.
However, we can also improve the game experience by reducing latency.
I was actually asked
The
to not
differences
reveal
of
that information.
milliseconds of latency
Oh,
in a
okay.
competitive game can be the
Interesting.
difference between a major win and a major loss.
Flexing, Jack. He's
Last year, we
flexing.
pushed the industry to recognize there was a better
We're
way
flex,
to
but
provide
okay.
competitive gamers with less latency from mouse click to the screen, giving competitive gamers who own the RX 5000 series a serious leg up on their competition. Today, we are pushing the boundaries again and further reducing latency in competitive games for even better results. Combining the latest implementation of Radeon Anti-Lag with the FreeSync monitor can reduce lag in your DX9 and in your DX11 games. In Fortnite, for
Okay,
example,
latency.
gamers can realize up to 8 milliseconds of latency
FreeSync
reduction
and
by
Radeon
simply
based.
enabling this feature in Radeon software. More recently,
That's significant,
we introduced
to be fair.
Radeon Boost, a unique feature that's a step beyond anti-lag. For select games, Radeon Boost offers dynamic resolution in response to your mouse or controller inputs, leading to higher frame rates and, as a result, quicker responses to your input. Both Radeon Anti-Lag and Radeon Boost can be enabled via the Radeon software that comes with your graphics cards, and neither of them require a proprietary API or a game integration to provide latency-reducing benefits. As you can see, the combination of these technologies can contribute up to 37%
pretty profound.
latency reduction in
Yeah,
highly
for
competitive
sure.
games like Fortnite running at 4K. Now, performance is king,
Please, Scott,
but let's
leave
talk for a
it
minute
alone.
about how we are improving the visual
go.
experience as
DX12
well.
Ultimate.
With full
okay.
hardware support for DX12 Ultimate, the Radeon RX 6000 series is ready to enable ray tracing and variable rate shading in upcoming titles. We've also expanded our library of Fidelity FX features to work hand in hand with ray tracing, compute, and shader effects to enable the higher level of visual fidelity while ensuring high frame rates. For DX12 Ultimate, we've added an optimized denoiser for ray tracing effects and a variable rate shading algorithm that can adapt image quality based upon luminance and motion. We've also added a suite of compute-based effects to be used alongside ray tracing, like optimized screen space reflections and an optimized ambient occlusion. We're always looking to help developers with new initiatives and are already working on a super resolution feature to give gamers an option for more performance when using ray tracing. As of today, our AMD Fidelity FX supported games list has grown to 35 titles using a variety of our features. So let's take a look at some of these new features in an upcoming game with never before seen footage from Counterplay Studios and their fantastic game, Godfall. Godfall is a brand new third-person perspective, next-generation looter slasher that challenges gamers to engage in high-impact melee combat as they hunt for loot, equip legendary armor, and defeat vicious enemies. Leveraging the latest DirectX 12 Ultimate API, Godfall features DirectX ray tracing, variable rate shading, and supports Fidelity FX casts to deliver incredible levels of stunning fidelity. I personally can't wait to play this game, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Now, let's hear from a few more of our game developer partners about the work they've done with us on RDNA 2 and what you can expect in their games coming soon.
I'm here to talk about Far Cry 6 and some of the new technologies we've been collaborating with AMD on to make our game the most immersive and beautiful Far Cry ever. We've been working together to take full advantage of the new Radeon RX 6000 series and RDNA 2 architecture for best possible experience. We've been very impressed by AMD's latest tech and joined forces to bring Fidelity FX casts, DXR ray tracing, and variable rate shading to Far Cry 6.
We're using VRS Tier 2 to use a compute shader to generate a control texture which analyzes the luminance and gives us control at an 8x8 tile level as to what shader rate we're going to be using. This enables us to render much more quickly but keep the same quality level.
We're excited to team up with great partners like AMD to bring some new features to World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is built on a custom engine using the DirectX 12 Ultimate API. Another great feature on the RX 6000 is DXR ray tracing. Here you can see ray tracing evident in how the shadows are interacting with your character. What you're seeing involves incredibly complex computations on the RX 6000. This is a level of realism that hasn't been possible until recently.
Let's go, whatever.
The RDNA 2 architecture and the Radeon 6000 series allowed us to introduce some of the latest DirectX 12 Ultimate technologies into our engine. Real-time ray-traced shadows allow us to introduce additional shadow casting lights into the scene that provide much more immersion and detail into the world.
Over the next few weeks, developers of these incredible games will show never-before-seen gameplay with gorgeous graphics that use a combination of ray tracing and Fidelity FX running on the Radeon RX 6000 series graphics cards. Be sure to check out AMD.com starting tomorrow to see more. I'm happy to announce that the Radeon RX 6800 XT will be available on November 18th, starting at $649. But we are not done yet. Today, we are also announcing the Radeon RX 6800, with 60 compute units, a 1.815 gigahertz game clock, with a boost clock of over 2.1 gigahertz. It will feature the same 128 megabytes of Infinity cache and be available with 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, with a board power of just 250 watts. The Radeon RX 6800 is a fantastic entry into 4K gaming, delivering more performance than the 2080 Ti, which was launched at $999. The 6800 delivers over 60 frames per second in all of these games, giving you the confidence you need to step into the 4K gaming experience. That same great performance extends to 1440p resolution, where the RX 6800 tears through the latest games, delivering about 18% more performance than the 2080 Ti on average. The Radeon RX 6800 will be available to gamers starting at a price of $579 on November 18th. Now, let's bring back Lisa to wrap things up.
You're going to do the one more thing. Show us the 80% version. Do it!
Thanks, Scott and Laura. The AMD Radeon 6800 XT and 6800 deliver simply incredible 4K and 1440p gaming experiences.
Do it.
This is the power of RDNA 2. And once we add the smart access memory technology, gamers can even get higher frames per second when pairing Radeon 6000 GPUs with Ryzen 5000 series. Now, I saw online that some of you were wondering which big Navi product we previewed during our Ryzen 5000 launch earlier this month. For the record, that was the 6800 XT. But you know, we always save the best for last, and I always get the most fun jobs. So today, that means I have one more GPU to show you. We didn't stop with the Radeon RX 6800 XT. We knew that the RDNA 2 architecture could give gamers even more. I'm so excited to share with you for the very first time the AMD Radeon RX 6900 XT. Now, isn't this just absolutely gorgeous? And you'll see that it's actually relatively compact for all the performance that it delivers. It's actually the same size as our 6800 XT card. Our top-of-the-stack Radeon GPU is built for the ultimate in 4K gaming performance. The 6900 XT combines 80 compute units with a 2.25 gigahertz boost clock to deliver even more performance at the highest settings. With 16 gigabytes of graphics memory, the 6900 XT is ready for the most demanding next-gen games. And with the power efficiency of RDNA 2, we've been able to deliver all of this with a total board power of 300 watts. Now, Laura showed you that we achieved a 54% generational improvement in perf per watt with the 6800 XT. With the 6900 XT, we improved things even more, hitting 65% more performance per watt over first-gen RDNA. I'm so proud of our engineers who worked incredibly hard to optimize every aspect of RDNA 2 to achieve this performance. Now let's see how all of this translates to gaming performance. Running at 4K with the highest settings, the 6900 XT looks absolutely fantastic. It's extremely competitive across the board, consistently delivering high frame rates in your favorite games. Just take a look at the performance we see against the competition in Battlefield 5, Call of Duty, and Gears of War 5. All of this is at lower power with a smaller card form factor. Now, let's talk about price and availability. The AMD Radeon RX 6900 XT will be available on December 8th, starting at $999. You asked for AMD to bring the highest graphics performance to the gaming market, and we're doing just that. I hope you now feel that with the Ryzen 5000 series and the Radeon 6000 series, AMD is your best choice for your next generation PC gaming platform. Whether you want a game with ultimate performance in AAA titles at 4K resolution, or you're an esports fan who needs incredibly high frame rates and responsiveness, across the board for every gamer at every price, AMD has the CPU and GPU combination for you. So I hope you're as excited as we are. We can't wait to get these products in your hands. So look for the Ryzen 5000 series starting November 5th, the Radeon RX 6800 series starting November 18th, and the Radeon RX 6900 XT starting December 8th. To wrap up here, this has been quite a journey for us, and I'm incredibly proud of our CPU and GPU teams who have worked years for this moment.
Someone said,
AMD is delivering the best to the industry. We want to thank all of you for your passion and enthusiasm and for always pushing us to be the best.
T2, which hopefully will shut the hell people up when they're referring to Mark Cerny, call them primitive shaders. Basically,
the 6800 delivers over 60 frames per second in all of these games, giving you the confidence you need to step into the 4K gaming experience.
$999. Incredibly good series starting November 8th.
What they've shown off. I think the GPU is pretty much what I expected.
Yeah, so we've got the 18th of November for the 6800 and the 8th of December for the 6900 XT.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, okay, hang on, I can do that. There you go.
Honestly, I'm really hyped to see what this architecture can do and across a variety of different scenarios, especially for APUs.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really actually impressed by what they had to show there. I mean, by all the reports and stuff that, you know, we'd obviously been hearing, both of the GPUs from AMD were going to be pretty impressive, and that we weren't going to have a repeat of Vega, and obviously the RDNA one was a bit disappointing for a lot of people as well. Yeah,
you know, it's actually
impressed.
very
impressed.
You know what I love about RDNA 1? Do you know the cooler itself has a dent in it? I can't help but feel that that is just like the designers saying, hey, we know what? We know this architecture is screwed, so we're going to design a cooler that actually has a dent in it because, you know, it basically matches the actual architecture itself. Flawed and missing features.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Like, I mean, imagine actually, like, there has to be some level of that. Like, yeah, we know we actually were supposed to ship with features with this GPU that it didn't ship with, and that the drivers are pretty much about as much use as like an umbrella in a hurricane at launch. So we're just gonna put a dent on this cooler just to let you know ahead of time.
It's canon. It's canon, guys.
It's like, dude. But yeah, RDNA 2, as I've said from the very beginning, it was a completely different architecture. RDNA 1, I got basically told was like a beta version.
Yeah.
In fact, one person essentially told me that it was created. One reason, as I mentioned earlier, is like it was a beta version. It was a stepping stone, but it was also pressure from AMD's board partners.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, you know, like with anything involving massive corporations, there's lots of reasons, multiple moving parts for why things happen the way that they do.
Yeah, I mean, how many times can they repackage Polaris? Like, I felt bad for it. It basically felt like the GeForce 8000 series.
Oh
like
no, what about Nvidia with the multiple versions of the, was it the 1060? Well, there was like 8 different versions of that card, and I was just like, stop, he's already dead.
I think Nvidia's the worst was where's the Tesla architecture, the 8000 series, and then they packaged it to the 9000 series, and then that became the 200 series. I'm just like, dude, stop, please.
Yeah, I think the 1060 had like a 6 gigabyte, and then I can't even remember. There was like a million different.
There was a 6, there was a 3, and there was a 5.
Yeah,
to the 1060.
Yeah, and I'm just like, dude, you're not making it any easier for your customers.
You know,
I'm a bit little. The only thing I will say about the event is not really anything about ray tracing was said.
Yes, there was a few things. They know they're crap on ray tracing compared to Ampere, or at least behind, so they're not showing that.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much confirms that they're not doing as well as Nvidia in ray tracing, otherwise they would be boasting about that, you know.
Yeah.
But other than that, very good.
I feel that the event, it was really good. Don't misconstrue what I'm going to say, but maybe it's because I just knew so much ahead of time. But it was also very safe for me. They played into their features, but if you actually watch the event very carefully, and I'm probably going to rewatch it 200 or 300 times to be honest, but there were some very interesting things that were mentioned. So here's a couple of little tidbits that I noticed.
Yeah.
One was the primitive shader thing, which I mentioned earlier. Two, they are stressing the fact that the GPU itself seems to be based around higher clock frequency, and they also are mentioning clock gating and other things for the GPU, which seems to indicate some of the stuff that Cerny was talking about in the Road to PS5 event, with the high-speed design. So it seems really that the PS5 architecture and RDNA 2 were essentially built around one another. Another thing that I noticed, they mentioned, I can't remember where it was discussed exactly. I think it was Scott Herkelman mentioned it. I could be wrong. Yeah, it was Scott. I can't
Yeah,
remember
no, I'm
exactly
pretty
who
sure it was Scott that said about all that, and then you remember you saying about Mark Cerny and the Road to PS5.
Yeah. So what I noticed is he mentions about super resolution.
Yeah.
And he said that it's going to be available later in an update. I wonder if that was the driver update that I mentioned that's happening in December-ish, or it might be January, but I heard it was targeted for December, which is going to have the upsampling tech.
Yeah, I mean, super resolution is a good enough name as any.
Yeah, because virtual super resolution, if memory serves, the virtual super resolution was the one that basically AMD's downsampling. So maybe they've got a variant of this for upsampling. But I mean, VRS itself, it's about bloody time they've got VRS, and it actually supports Tier 2, which isn't unsurprising.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know about what people are thinking overall, but it basically was an event which I expected. I mean, clock frequencies, all of that stuff at that point had kind of...
Yeah, I mean, I was impressed, but not surprised, if that makes any sense, because it all pretty much lined up exactly with everything that we've been saying for the last, 10,000 years, it feels like.
Yeah, that's probably why one of the AMD employees told me that I'm making their life interesting.
Yeah, apparently...
Don't mention who.
I'm not going to, obviously.
Okay.
All I was going to say was, apparently, we keep AMD on their toes.
Yeah,
that did give me a little chuckle when they said that. I was like, yes.
I'm not really surprised that they don't want to sample me, because they've said previously that they don't want to legitimize my leaks, because basically feel that if they sample, which is kind of weird because they do sample anyway, but it will be later on. And the fact of the matter is, it's to legitimize the leaks, the fact that the leaks are accurate is what legitimizes the leaks. So I find it really interesting that, we've got in this weird situation now where we know what the performance is, other than ray tracing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we'll find out, excuse me, when the cards come out, how good they are. People will... That's probably going to be the first thing that people will test, to be honest, or one of the first things, anyway. Yeah, it is interesting that they barely mention that, but to be fair, they're not due out for another month, and the flagship isn't due out for another 2 months. So, maybe they're just not ready to talk about that yet.
Remind me how much the RTX 3080 is. It's $699, right?
In dollars, yeah, £650.
Yeah, so I even got the fact it was $50 cheaper than the 3080.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the price of the 6900 XT did make me laugh. It was like, oh, $999. Okay, interesting. You keep it under £1,000.
Well, I mean, I did say it wasn't going to be cheap. I mean, no one was really expect. I mean,
I don't think anyone expected it to be cheap.
Yeah, there's no way it's going to be $700. Let's just be honest.
Of course. I'm just trying to find the price of the 6800, and I can't remember what it is. And people keep asking. There it is. 579. 579. There you go.
Oh, okay, that's too much, I think. I think there's too much of a spec disparity between the 6800 XT and the 6900 XT.
And the 6900 XT was... Sorry, you know what I mean. Yeah, the 6900 is 1,000, so...
I personally think that the sweet spot there seems to be the 6800 XT.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I would cough up the money for the 6900 XT.
No, I mean $1,000 or £950 or whatever it ends up being, it's not really what I would want to spend personally.
I'm trying to find. Oh yeah, so it's 60 CU for the 6800. I think given the disparity, because it's like 649 versus 57, yeah, it's 579. I think the price difference, I would rather cough up the extra like $80 or whatever. I mean, God knows how much it will be in terms of AIDs.
Sorry, how much did you say it was again? I've been trying to find the
579.
579 versus what for the
649, but God knows how much it will be in terms of AIB cards when we get the custom.
I mean, obviously, if you're on a budget, that sort of money is significant. But if you're not, then you might as well just cough up the extra to get.
I mean, I personally would rather. I personally would like, you know. I'd rather like not have a couple of cups of coffee, because if it was like, I don't know, 649 and then it was like 499, I'd be more okay, fair enough. But maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But I think 579 is a little much, considering you're giving up 12 CU, and you're also giving up clock frequency as well. I don't know. I would be curious to see how ray tracing performance scales across both.
Yeah. That's going to be where it's really interesting, but it's still nice to see AMD being competitive again. To be honest, I mean, even if they lose out in ray tracing or whatever, it's still nice to see them being much more competitive. And to be honest, a lot of people don't care about ray tracing. There's not enough games.
They will do.
I mean, they will, I'm sure, but at the moment, there's not enough games for a lot of people to really care that much.
I tell you one thing.
Hang on, one sec. Chat, tell me, how many of you care about ray tracing as a gamer? Not as a tech enthusiast or whatever. How many of you count ray tracing among the things that help you decide what graphics card to purchase?
I think that's an unfair question because we don't know what's going to happen with it. My personal opinion is ray tracing in the next couple of years. I mean, you've got to remember, Nvidia have been pushing ray tracing basically by themselves because consoles and AMD's cards have not been capable. The market is going to change drastically now with the next-gen consoles because basically all games from the consoles essentially will have ray tracing in the next year.
Well, don't get me wrong, I'm interested in it, and I think it's definitely going to become very important, as you say, because of consoles and everything you just said. But at the moment, that's what I mean. At the moment, a lot of people in chat are saying they don't care at the moment, and I can't really blame them for feeling that way. To be honest, as much as I personally care, that's just me.
I'm not gonna lie. Like for me, depending on how far behind in ray tracing, I would rather give up a little bit of I'd rather give up a few frames in rasterization if ray tracing was significantly faster. But it's how much slower ray tracing is on the cards. What I am pretty confident in, though, is when RDNA 3 whispers start, because I've already started to hear some stuff about RDNA 3.
Yeah.
I think the excitement levels for RDNA 3 are actually going to be even more than RDNA 2.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's like with VR. We're kind of in the very early days of that still, and it's going to be a while before we really see the impact of that, and it's going to be the same for ray tracing.
I think RDNA 3, though, I'm not just talking about from the ray tracing perspective. I think the whole architecture is as much of a jump, maybe even more so than RDNA 2 from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, I know from the early rumblings that we're hearing, it's looking pretty impressive, but obviously, we'll see. One thing I
also noticed about the performance numbers as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this. Where is it?
For which card, sorry?
The 16900. Sorry, I'm trying to find the exact name.
Okay, hold on. Tell me the timestamp when you find it, and I'll go there.
Yeah, I'm trying to bloody find it myself, and it's like,
yeah, it's annoying, isn't it?
Like I keep I keep finding it where you only see portions of it. There we go. There we go. There we go. Oh no, hang on. That's 1440p. I'm looking for the 4K results.
Someone's got an interesting question actually.
What's that?
This is from Alwis Hellfrost. Do you think RDNA 2 won't be penalised too much? Hang on, it's gone up. Where is it? Wait, okay. Too much on ray tracing front simply because most popular ray tracing games will be coded for consoles and devs won't put in the extra mile for a PC RT port.
Well, I'm hearing through the grapevine that this is a concern at Nvidia. The only question is, how advanced is AMD's ray tracing pipeline? And also, the one thing that kind of bugs me as well is Sony and Microsoft have both said custom on the consoles for the ray tracing components.
Yeah.
The thing is, neither of them have detailed exactly what is custom on the ray tracing. So is it a case of ray tracing on consoles performs better on a per CU basis than desktop? I honestly don't know. It's very possible that Nvidia's thing might be better, but I also suspect that what we're going to see quite often is also Nvidia just doing, the RTX inspired thing like they're doing with Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
And then you've got something like Far Cry 6, which is like AMD sponsored basically.
Yeah.
And then you've got Watch Dogs, which is like obviously an Nvidia kind of sponsored title. I suspect it's going to be very similar to that. And if I know Nvidia, I would imagine that they're going to do any and everything they can to give games developers the tools they need to optimize. I think that's what they're going to do. I don't know. I mean, it's a very good question, and I've kind of thought that myself.
Yeah,
but I think Nvidia are going to do any and everything they can, because don't forget, like, until now, AMD have not even had a ray tracing solution, and somehow or another, Nvidia have managed to get games like Control, with DLSS and everything else. I think Nvidia's pockets are just so deep. I honestly don't know the question. I think it's going to be like a year. But what I was going to say about the performance, if you notice, Battlefield 5, I would love to know, and this is something we can only really test when we actually get the cards, but you notice something quite interesting. On games AMD seems to do well with, there seems to be quite a big gap compared to the ones that they are kind of drawing or Nvidia are ahead in. So what I mean by that, if you look at Battlefield 5, this is at timestamp 13, let's say 1325, 13 something like that, 28 I'm looking at. If you look at the performance of Battlefield 5, for example, they're saying that they're getting around 100 frames, 113 compared to the RTX 3080s. Well, they haven't given numbers for the Nvidia cards, which is super helpful, but let's just call it around 100.
Hang on, sorry. For some reason, it's not worth explaining. So which card was it, sorry, did you say?
The 3080. So 3080 versus 6800, so it's around at minute 13...
Yeah, it's not showing me in the minutes. It's way too long to explain.
Okay.
Battlefield 5,
it's about halfway through.
Battlefield 5, you said?
Yeah.
The 2X.
So it's 100...
Sorry?
I was going to say it's 113 versus around 100, right?
Yeah.
Forza Horizon is 138 versus God knows.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems that when AMD's architecture takes advantage of the game, there is quite a significant gap between it and the RTX 3080.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much of this Nvidia can optimize with drivers. And I wonder what it is specifically in those game engines which does well. Because it's not like it's one of them's using a specific game engine, to my knowledge. Like Borderlands, I think, is Unreal Engine. Call of Duty and Battlefield 5 obviously use different game engines.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3, it's losing, which is kind of interesting. I actually would have figured that would have won. Forza Horizon is also using quite a different engine. So I would like to know what specifically in those game engines which AMD are doing well in is the reason that they're ahead versus the ones that they're not. that to me is quite an interesting.
Well, Resident Evil 3 is obviously Capcom's internal engine called RE engine.
Gears of War is basically
Forza,
identical.
I don't know what engine that uses, to be honest.
I think it's their own internal engine.
Battlefield 5 and COD, I don't know. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one to look at anyway, sorry. What's that? Division 2. That's going to be Ubisoft's own one as well. So maybe it's like the custom ones? I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's just an interesting discussion.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I'm quite happy with the processes. It's also, you know what though, to me the big question is outside of all of that.
Yeah.
How many people are going to? If I were Nvidia and I were Intel, I would start. I mean, obviously, I don't know this is the case.
Yeah.
This is not a leak. I just want to stress that. But if I were Nvidia and I were Intel, I would let bygones be bygones, and I would do anything I could to cross-promote, even though Nvidia technically are going to be releasing their cards because of the proprietary technology that AMD have in terms of increasing performance. I've forgotten the name of it offhand, but you know what one I mean. Like,
oh, the lag reducing thing, you mean? Or...
No. The you know, the thing for Ryzen 5000. And,
Ryzen Master, is it?
No.
I can't remember.
I can't honestly remember the name.
Drawing a blank.
I honestly wonder if we're going to see AMD start to utilize some type of. I'm trying to find the exact slide because it's like up to 13% improvement, which is pretty big. It also makes me wonder if people will simply jump on the. That's it. What's it called? Smart Access Memory, SAM.
Oh, yeah.
Smart Access Memory. I mean, I wonder how many people are just going to jump on the RX 6000 series simply because of SAM, because it seems to be like, you know, let's say 5 to 7% on worst case scenario, which is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, I mean, 13% on Forza Horizon 4 is, you know, you wouldn't kick that out of bed for eating crackers sort of thing, you know.
What?
What? Have you not had that phrase before?
No, no, I haven't.
Well, you can thank me later for illuminating your life.
I would disagree with the word illumination. I would say darken.
That's fine. Either way, it's fine with me.
The rage mode, though, it seems to indicate that there's still a lot of overclocking headroom in these things, which also makes me think that they can hit 2400 megahertz.
So yeah, overall thoughts on the event then.
I think AMD did good to highlight how they did good.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got more questions now, ironically, going out of the event than I had going into the event. Because beforehand, I basically knew 95% of the stuff.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay. Like with Sam, for example, right?
Yeah.
I'm now thinking to myself, what will this mean for future APUs? And I'm also wondering, for example, what are the lower end SKUs, like the ones below the 6800, like the 6700? Are we going to see those launch in Q1? What about ray tracing performance? You know, what about DLSS? What about features like NVIDIA Broadcast? Because it's kind of interesting. I just feel like I don't know. Like I've got more questions now than ever before.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you. I mean, obviously, we don't know everything about these cards, even slightly.
No, we've got very little in terms of actual architecture information.
Yeah,
really.
Which when they said the event was only going to be 25 minutes, I knew it was just going to be like the Ryzen event. They weren't really going to go deep into the technical side. It was just going to be, here's the cards, here's the performance, here's the price, here's the release date.
Wham bam, thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll probably get a deeper dive at some point, maybe the next financial analyst day, or
I assume there'll be
like
a white paper for reviewers.
Yeah, and there'll probably be a white paper as well. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I just hope we can get our hands on a card so that we can do some tests, but we'll see.
I mean, I know what I'm about to say is like seems to be the reverse of everyone else, including yourself, but I'm still more interested in the CPUs than the GPUs. I kind of feel like Intel have had their way with the market on the CPUs for so long, and they've always been the gaming like crown. Even I'm trying to think, like
Hi,
even
with
huh?
Oh, sorry, I was talking to someone in chat. Ignore me.
I was going to say, like, even the 6700K, 7700K, you know, even when AMD were releasing CPUs which literally had twice the number of cores, they've been behind in gaming performance for so long. I don't know, like, I think there's this part of me, and it may be unrealistic, maybe it's maybe being too much of an idealist, but I really want Intel to just do something, man. Like, come on, do something. Like, I just
do something.
Yeah, I mean, I won't mention names, but I've had conversations with people who work at Intel, literally work at Intel, and I need to be careful how I phrase this because I don't want to get anyone into trouble, but the frustration at Intel is palpable, and I feel so bad for them because even Bob, the CEO, is frustrated with the state of affairs, and it's so difficult for them to. It feels like it feels like they're trying to right a ship which is going towards an iceberg, and like it's already hit 2 icebergs, but they're already moving towards the 3rd one.
What it feels like to me, the long story short of Intel, is they got complacent because AMD didn't really give them a reason to be competitive for such a long time, and then obviously Ryzen burst in like the Kool-Aid man through the wall, and the rest is history. And they've basically just been trying to play catch up ever since, and it just hasn't really worked for various reasons. I mean, the shortage that they've had obviously didn't help. So it's just...
No, I do love the GPUs, but the thing is for me, like, at least AMD for all of this time have been pretty damn competitive with at least the lower end SKUs, for gaming. Like, there's been a really good argument that the RX 480 and the RX 580 or whatever were the best value cards. But with gaming, there was no argument at all that Intel were the best. Like, if you wanted to do streaming and other stuff as well, AMD were kind of like, great. But I don't know, maybe I'm just sick of people always, lolling at AMD having not being 5 gigahertz or whatever. Maybe I'm just frustrated kind of fighting a fight on the CPU side of things of like, 5 gigahertz is king, insert meme. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I know that more people seem, at least from polls that I'm even put out, seem to be more interested in the GPUs.
Yeah, I mean, I was more interested in the GPUs just because I wanted to see what AMD had in store for us this gen. Like, with everything that we've been hearing, I was getting really hyped, and I just wanted to know. And it seems like the hype was justified, at least so far. Anyway.
Can I say though, I must admit, I think Nvidia are bloody geniuses the way that they've actually marketed their cards.
What do you mean?
Well, here's the thing, right? They could have launched the RTX 30 series at a way higher price, but if they'd have cut the price, they'd have looked like they were trying to react to AMD. Basically, what Nvidia have done essentially is smother AMD in announcements. Like the fact that the Founders Edition embargo lifted for the 3070 before the AIB cards. So you've got this double sandwich of RTX 3070 coverage before and after AMD's event is bloody genius. The biggest problem NVIDIA have had, and it's it's a gift to AMD, and it's definitely an opportunity for AMD to grab a lot of available TAM, total available market, is the availability issues of the RTX 30 series. I don't know if you saw, there was news that NVIDIA are hitting about 10% of orders for, I think it's a Danish retailer. I can't remember their name offhand. So obviously AMD have a huge opportunity here in terms of, but can they actually fulfill all of those potential orders? I don't know. It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Especially given AMD will also be producing CPUs, of course, which means Zen 3 is for desktop as well as servers. And then they're also going to be producing chips, of course, for Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. I mean, hopefully we don't get a repeat of what's happened with the RTX 30 cards, where basically, unless you want to pay a scalper, you can't get hold of one. That would obviously be disastrous, but, we'll see. They're not due out for another month, and then another month after that for the, excuse me, for the flagship.
Yeah, it seems... This is, I think, though, I guess my closing thoughts are, this is definitely one of those situations. I think, my personal opinion, this is definitely one of those situations where, whether you're an NVIDIA fan, an AMD fan, or how I personally feel you should be, you don't give a rat's ass, you just buy the best thing, for your money. I think we're finally in a great position in the market where...
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, consumers are spoiled for choice, which is good.
Yeah, you really are. I mean, CPUs, GPUs. I'll also be interested to see how many people stick with, let's say, an 8700K or something like that, and then upgrade their GPUs. Like, yeah.
I mean, usually for a lot of people, it's one at a time, because obviously, especially if they're going for the top end parts, they're not cheap. So they might buy a new GPU and then a new CPU later or whatever, because some things hold their age better than others.
Yeah, I mean, I let's face it. If you've got like a 3950X or a 10900K or something like that, it's not like
you're not going to be upgrading most likely, no.
Yeah, I mean, do you really need to upgrade to the 5950X or whatever if you've got a 3950X? I mean, you might if you've got the funds.
I mean, obviously, some people like to just have the best of the best at all times, which is totally cool. But some people just they'll buy something top end and then they'll make it last them until they have to replace it, which is also valid. So it's obviously depends on the person, but yeah.
You know what's really funny is one of my friends, he bought a 5700 XT. Anniversary edition, and he literally it kept crashing on him on one system. Is the 9900K system.
Yeah.
Like no matter what he did on his 8700K, it was rock solid, but on the 9900K, it would keep crashing no matter what. Like whether it was factory default setting. But he basically tried different drivers, DDU, Windows install. It just kept crashing. On the NVIDIA hardware, he tried like 2 NVIDIA cards, and it was like rock solid. And an old AMD card, it was rock solid. But on the 5700 XT anniversary, it would just crash, and on the other system, it would be rock solid. So he got so angry that he was going to take it outside and shoot it. And his brother was like, "Don't do it, dude! It's like an anniversary card. It makes so much." And even he is like,
"That's amazing! I'm just gonna go outside and shoot it. What the hell?"
He has an AR-15 that he wanted to shoot it with.
Oh, that's the most American thing I've ever heard. Oh my goodness!
He's wanted to shoot it so bad. He's getting so angry.
I mean, to be fair, like there has been times when I've just wanted to like chuck something out the window or kick it down the stairs or whatever. So I understand. I truly do understand the feeling.
It took him like 2 or 3 days of this, like of just the crashing and it just like working perfect on one system and then just crashing on another. And he was like, "I'm never buying another AMD card." And even he is like, "Okay, I might have to pick up an RDNA GPU."
Oh,
like, dude, my goodness, you are glutton for punishment. I know this is going to sound so harsh, but there's a part of me that does hope that the drivers crash on that as well.
Oh no, that's just mean. That's mean. Come on. Oh, all right, Paul. We should probably call it. I've got a few things to do, and we've gone on for just as long as the event did, just talking about the events.
All right. Well, thanks very much, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us, guys. We'll see you for the next one.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.